This daf Yom Yerushalmi Maseches Sheni, the last spot in Maseches Sheni, and the article were on daf Nun Tes Amud Aleph, the 10th line from the top, Vizvada. In the Vilna, it's the 10th line from the top, also of Lamed Gimel and Beis, Vizvada. Although we're going to finish the Masechta Be'ezus Hashem, I'm not going to make a Sehadron at the end because by us it's today when I'm recording, it's 3 weeks, and same as seen for the 9 days. So we will finish Be'ezus Hashem. So Vizvada. So yes, he said, we said in the Mishnah, Yochanan Kohen goes about to be the Meisers. Because they were not doing it properly, they were giving the Meiser to the Kohanim, not to the Leviim. And also, there was this whole issue of the Mayim, which occurred in the days of Yochanan Kohen Gadol. As we learned yesterday, Rabbi Yochanan said, the whole thing which procedure that Yochanan Kohen Gadol established. So, that's a very interesting question. What is this Vizvada? There's no Shem Shemayim about Torah here. There's no issue of Bracha about Torah. It's just a statement. Why can be Mizvada? Okay, it's 100% accurate. So the Gemara says no, you can't do it. So because the anger of Shemayim, somebody says they did, so they didn't do it. So reminiscent of the famous Marshal Baba Kama Daf Lamed Ches Amud Aleph, where it says that when Chazal taught the Romans the Torah, they taught them that Shorshel Akum is potter because it says Shoreu, even though this was detrimental to the Jews to have such halacha publicly known. But then the Marshal says so you have to teach it because you can't be Messiah of Torah. You can't distort Torah concepts. So therefore, you can't go to being Mizvada if you didn't actually do it. So what it says, so that's the case, so somebody did separate the make it selective. People who did it properly should be Mizvada, people who didn't, there shouldn't be Mizvada. Time like that we learned there was an initial takara, there was an interim step which Yochanan Kohen took. Till Ashkifa, everybody would say slightly, because and the people who didn't do it, they would mumble gibberish under their breath. If any, they just remain silent. Only once you got to Ashkifa, once you got to Ashkifa, you would say everybody would say it out loud because, of course, at that point it's just a tefillah. So apparently that was initially considered to be indeed sufficient. But at some point they decided that also would be embarrassing, I guess, in some way, shape, or form. Maybe people figure out that they were people who weren't quite mumbling, they were silent. In any event, 3 years ago, there was in one of my classes, there was a girl who told me that when they dive in school, she doesn't dive in. She just says over watermelon, 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 because they watermelon many times. It looks like you're actually saying something meaningful, but it's just, even though it's just gibberish. So, Baruch Hashem, we got it to daven. But in any event, the point is that evidently there was still Shlol Vayesh, and therefore, it was the people saying it under their breath in some way, shape, or form. So Yochanan just said, "What are you going to do with it all away, or do it away with it altogether?" One is a bit choppy. The other pshatim which are given here, in the article, other Mefarshim, but that's the most simple malachim. Okay, so the Gemara goes on and says, Esam Orin, he canceled them Orin. Oh, who are them Orin? Also, Omin, those who said in the Beis Hamikdash that the Levim would say when they said the shir Shayom, they would add a pasuk from Tilim Mem Dalet Ur Lomad Yishan Hashem Hakitza Al Tiznach Lanetzach. While you sleep at Kodesh Baruch Hu, wake up. So it says, it seems like it wasn't just a tefillah they were saying, but a taina, klapi malo. So therefore Yochanan got up and said, no, enough, stop. Again, is there any sleep before Kodesh Baruch Hu? It says Kodesh Baruch Hu, the guardian of Israel never sleeps nor slumbers. So why does it say, if that's the case, the Tilim Ayin Chesed Mechei, Kodesh Baruch Hu rose like someone who had sleeping. Kav Yochel Kilu in front of Shena, but it's as if Kav Yochel. Kodesh Baruch Hu sleeping with Shoshi Sorah when Am Yisrael is in Sorah, almost only Birvacha, and the nation of the world are when Am Yisrael has anguish, the nation of the world are have a state of expansiveness and calm. It says, Hakadosh Baruch himself uses the lashon, it's Eov speaking, but again, what you're saying is Hakadosh Baruch speaking, B'hamorosam talin enai. When Am Yisrael goes against Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the mamre against Hakadosh Baruch Hu, the sinning, it's as if Hakadosh Baruch Hu's eyes are resting. So it looked like a tiny clapping mala, even though so they meant as a tefillah, so therefore Yochanan canceled it. As an okvin, also canceled the okvin. Also, Shemaka Gabi Ega ben Karnov. So they would hit the calf between its horns in order that it should bleed into his eyes. It'd be easy to topple it over and shecht it. Yochin Kohen said, "And most of the machimas on his back treifos." So how am I going to be giving him his back treifos? Now treifos. In fact, it's possible to be a treifa because if you pierce the membrane of the brain, it's a treifa mamish. But I think in when it's brought down in Bible, it says it's like treifas. I don't say that it says that here, but I think in the Bible that's the way it's brought down. Looks like treifas. But anyway, he said, according to the mamish treifas, he's the one who made rings to secure the animals in the Azara when they shecht them. They shecht them in order that they should not have this difficulty of having to sedate the animal. Rabbi Babashir Rabbi said, Tabos Asolem, he made for them these rings. Tabos Uchavos Milamaton, but Soros Milamaton. They were broad on the bottom and narrow on the top, so you could put the animal in from the bottom and then fix its neck in the vise on top, so it would be steady when they had to come and shecht it. Till his time, there were hammers beating in Yerushalmi during Chol HaMoed. So the Gemara says, "Ad chilas yomav," to the beginning of his reign as Kohen Gadol, and then he negated, he ceased, caused him to desist from doing so. Umar is going to come back to that point. Okay, his time, people no longer ask about my Shemi Zugos. He put in place pairs of Yerushalmi who should be mashgiach and make sure that Amaratzim should not sell fruit unless they took off trumas and maisrus based on his takana previously. So, according to this Yerushalmi, it wasn't the takana for the people who purchased, and at least in first, it wasn't takana for the people who purchased the fruit. It was takana that there should be mashgichim in the marketplaces who made sure this stuff happened. Another interpretation of the Zugos idea, and one of them is that the Zugos were in charge of making sure that the people who bought the produce took off the Shumas HaMaisas according to the takana of that Yochanan Gadol instituted. Okay, Mil says Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi, Amra, Mehen L'Gnai, Mehen L'Shlach. So according to Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi, not all of the things that Rabbi Yochanan Gadol did in our Mishnah were praiseworthy. Dam Rabbi Yossi Shem Rabbi Tanchu Bar Chia, Yossi named Rabbi Tanchu Bar Chia, Rabbi Chizkiah, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Tanchu Bar Chia, B'Shem Yehoshua ben Levi. They said Yehoshua ben Levi. But Sheni HaMaiser Na'aseh L'Shlosha Chalakim. Initially, Ma'aser Rishon was divided into three parts. Shlish L'Makirei Kun Levia, a third were given to the people's acquaintances or Kohanim Levim. Shlish third was given to the Beis HaMikdash, and for there the Levim would come and collect it. Shlish L'Aniyim V'Chavim Yerushalayim, and the third was given to the poor people and the Talmidei Chachamim in Yerushalayim, living in Yerushalayim. Rabbi Yossi said, "Man to have a solik lemid and lemid in Yerushalayim, somebody who would go up for the who would go up to had to go up was summoned to go up to a court case in Yerushalmi at the Tlas Igrin until until the third letter, the third Hazmona, the Haviyah Mididei, the claimant would pay out of his own pocket. Afterwards, it would come from the Otzar, from the treasury. Mishbar Lezem and Prachia, ben Pchora, Yehoshua ben Yehuda ben Sora, when Elazar ben Pchora and Yehuda ben Sora came along, Hayunoltin Osam Mizroa. So they would come and they would take the Meiser with force. They wouldn't allow this initial arrangement to remain in place. Via Svekam Biyad Limchos, and they had the capacity, could have protested, and not said, no, you can't take this. It's supposed to go to Levium. You're not Levium, evidently. He didn't make a mechal. At that point, he just eliminated Odois Meiser. So it was something which he could have fixed and didn't fix. So that, according to this, his removing Odois Meiser was Lignai, not L'Shazu Lignai. It was not L'Shvach. So the question is why this thing with the Baladim is brought down here. So unfortunately say that the reason it's brought down here is because the Otzar from which they used to take the expenses for the additional Hazmanos, they would come from, this Otzar was from the Shlish Otzar, the Ma'aser Rishon, which was put into the stockpile in the Beis HaMikdash. So that stockpile was used for Tzorchei Tzibur, like additional functions of basin, which we didn't want to burden the claimant with. We used that additional stockpile. There's an interesting discussion here about who these tough guys were, these bandits. Some say it's Elazar ben Puiro, his brother Babi Kiddushin, who was the one who persuaded Yanai HaMelech to kill the Chachanim. That's from the Doros Sheni. And according to this, there's another interpretation. Interesting. There's a whole question here which he asks whether this Yochanan Kohen Gadol who was discussing was actually Yochanan Gadol B'Sof Yom came with Stoki, which I always thought was the case, and really not everybody agrees that it was. Some say that I guess the Doros Rishonim has a different interpretation that the Yochanan Kohen Gadol Sugya was the father of Matisyo. He didn't call for Tapas, didn't come at Stoki. Interestingly, I thought it was pretty well understood that it is the Yochanan became at Stoki Sof Yomov. Anyway. The final Gemara comes back to the Morin. As the Morin Lishvach, everybody agrees. Yeshua ben Levi holds every other Meiser was not Lishvach. It was a night moving the Morin was Lishvach. There's a Nokin Lishvach. Also, the Nokfin was Lishvach. Ad Yom Padish Makib Yerushalmi at Chilas Yom. We said until the beginning of his reign. Chasid Shol Rabbi Chizkiah. Chizkiah asked Rabbi Chizkiah, Lo Mistabra Ad Sof Yomav. It doesn't make sense to say that this is also Gnai, and it was only at the end of his reign did he actually cause the Word Chamoy to desist. And he wants to learn out, the Yerushalmi says, Ad Yomav, and it doesn't say Biyamav. So Ad Yomav, if it said Biyamav, so it'd say throughout his reign. There's Adiyama, perhaps it's only at the very end, and perhaps it's also Gnai. So Amalei Afanas Abrakain. I also hold that way. They only made exam at the end of his reign. To my Rabbi Yossi, B'Shem Evo, Rabbi Chizkiah, B'Shem Yudim Ben Pazi said, Demai is the derivation of that, is the etymology is that I'm going with the gears of the Rav Fulda and the Gra. Da Mai. What is this? Ticane or ticane, low ticane? Is it fixed or isn't it fixed? So demai is domai. What is this?